Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning, my pleasure. Nice seeing you again.
Thank you very much. Now, before we come to this successes recorded by the military and other issues surrounding insecurity in the nation, there was a development yesterday that was on the pages of the newspapers this morning. And the presidency, there was some attempt, that, as it is said, on the president's chief of staff's resident, and the presidency has said that, called it a foolish attempt. But there's been reactions. Some persons are raising concerns, and some of the presidency is saying there is no cause for alarm. I wonder what you make of this development, an attempt. Some are saying, should there have been an attempt already, knowing that this is seemingly a security breach for a lot of Nigerians? Talk to us.
Well, in the first instance, let's use this opportunity to really educate Nigerians about what it is, because yes. When that story broke, particularly in the social media, many are reporting it differently, and some Nigerians are being misled as to exactly what it was. You know, some say the residence of the
chief of staff.
Chief of staff is the Aso Villa has been, invaded by armed robbers. Let us understand it. The residence of the chief of staff is not inside the villa. Right. And it's not possible, I say, it's not possible for armed robbers or robbers to invade Aso Rock. Be that as it may, the residence of the chief of staff is not located inside Aso Rock, is outside Aso Rock on the street.
The proximity is quite close.
It's still not the same.
It's still not the same, we agree.
If it's not Veronica, it cannot be Veronica.
Right.
So let's get it right, because there's this palpable fear now that, oh, well, Aso Villa has been invaded by armed robbers. Do you understand? The residence of the chief of staff inside Aso Villa has been invaded. You know the kind of message that will send out, the kind of fear it will create. It meant that insecurity apparently has been extended into the villa. So we have to use this to let the viewers understand that, one, the residence of...
It's not within the villa.
It's not.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, I am even shocked at all. Presidency has said it was an attempt. Some have said that the residence was actually invaded by robbers. Whether they were armed or not, nobody is certain. What would robbers be looking for in the residence of the chief of staff is the first question I ask myself, as somebody who has some knowledge of security. What would they be looking for? That's the thing you ask yourself. Were they looking for money? Were they looking for documents? Were they looking for equipment like laptops and all of that? Were they robbers that made the attempt? Now, the residence of the chief of staff is not like the common residence of any other person.
Absolutely.
You have security agents guarding the residence of the chief of staff. So if they actually were able to beat the security arrangement within and around the gate, the entrance to the apartment of the chief of staff, then there are questions to be asked, and then there's cause for concern. But well, what was said by the presidency as against what is being spread now is that it was an attempt at the residence. But even so, why would some persons want to attempt? Yes, breaking into the residence of the chief of staff? Are they robbers? Are they just people who wanted something else? Well, as it unfolds, I think we eventually, these questions, by the time they begin to answer these questions, we eventually get at exactly what the situation is or was. Because right now I am baffled, because the chief of staff will not pack millions and keep in his residence. That will attract robbers. In the first instance, what would attract armed robbers to the residence of the chief of staff would be money. Right. Then, if it's the chief of staff,
if it's information,
he has access to information, because of course the importance of the office of the chief of staff to presidency. So who were these people? What exactly were they looking for? And why were they making an attempt at the residence of the chief of staff?
Because this, for a lot of Nigerians, is beginning to, like you pointed out earlier, is sending some signals that perhaps this is the level to which we have come when it comes to issues of insecurity as a nation. Cries here and there talking about how it is pertinent that we address these issues head on as quickly as possible.
I agree with you. It has to be addressed, because if it is not quickly addressed, and presidency must come out to tell us the truth exactly what happened. You know, if not, wrong signals will have a way of creating fear and panic in the people, particularly if it gets to the level of persons now, hoodlums wanting to attack the residence of the person of the chief of staff. That office and the man who sits in that office are not just ordinary people like you and I.
Absolutely.
He has huge security paraphernalia. And so what was the attraction in the first instance? The presidency must quickly come out now to talk to Nigerians, so that those of them who are beginning to insinuate wrongly will immediately get the right information, and then whatever fear that will begin to put in people, because some will begin to say, well, if the residence of the chief of staff could be attacked, then it meant that the residence of any other person could be attacked. Of course, don't forget that, like I rightly addressed, what was going on in the minds of many since yesterday has been that Aso Villa has been invaded by robbers. But which is absolutely not true, because the residence of the chief of staff, like I said earlier, is not within
the villa.
The villa.
All right. Now we see that civil society groups, they are raising, questions, are asking the government to do something as quickly as possible to address the security issues. They have said that according to reports, over 2,000 citizens, 2,000 Nigerians have lost their lives in the first quarter of this year. And to them, that is not what the Constitution states when it talks about protection of lives and property. Now, I'm trying to, state, because I'm wondering why you're laughing. I'm stating what these people, they are concerned, just like every other Nigerian.
No, my thinking was not my concern was the statistics.
It could be more than that.
The statistics, 2,000 people in the first quarter of this year. Well, there's no gainsaying the fact that many have not been killed, including security agents and the military personnel. It is telling you how much of insecurity we are facing at the moment in the country. Right. Well, even so, the military has risen up to the occasion. These killings are not coming from one sect. They are not from, you have bandits, killings from bandits. You have killings from headers. You have killings from terrorists. And then you also have killings from kidnappers. So the government, as it were, will often do what they need to do in terms of securing lives and properties of the citizenry, which is apparently constitutional.
Yes.
But the question is, what the government is doing, has it been enough? Has it been able to cater and create confidence in the mind of the citizenry? Beyond these persons, we have also seen militia groups. Particularly, we have seen that of the ESN. We have seen of late in the southeast and south targets on security agents, particularly those of them who are manning certain areas, have been ambushed or have been attacked. Police stations have been attacked. Personnel, police officers have also lost their lives in the course of all of this. Why the new wave of attacks on
police formation,
police officers in the east and in the south is something that beats my imagination. I've not been able to place a finger on why this new trend has come up in the southeast and in the south-south. Particularly, we have seen all of that, particularly the part of south-south has been more of Port Harcourt, River State. And then we have also seen more of in the that of the southeast in Imo State, particularly. You know, recently, I think about a number of days ago, we saw the killing of some persons, tagged bandits who were said to be moving towards a police formation to attack. But, they were repelled along the line and many of them lost their lives. But why all of this development in the southeast and south-south? The thing has spread across the country. Let's not pretend about it.
Yes.
Let's not pretend about it. Before now, it was limited to the north. We had plenty of all of that in the north, where particularly the issues of headers, terror, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and kidnappers, you know, and also the bandits. But right now, we are seeing a movement from the north now, and then down to the east, and then to the south. A little of it in the west. Well, not much of it, because what we've had is just issues of bandits, not bandits, now headers, who are kidnapping people in the forest. And the governors from the southwest have been very much proactive. We saw what happened in Ondo State when the alarm was raised that certain persons were, you know, housed in a particular military formation. And then even though the military have come out to say no, we also saw the action of the governor where some persons were moved away, were asked to leave the state, particularly because of security. These are proactive security measures.
So we're seeing the governors of the South now, the 17 governors coming together there to have a meeting, I think, either today or tomorrow, because they are also concerned about the number of attacks on security formations in their states. And so they will be having that meeting to see how they can address it and be decisive. So for you, what should be at the front burner of their conversation? A lot of persons have said the truth must be spoken. There has to be some level of sincerity in that conversation to get results. Well,
if the governors must hold that meeting, I think they should invite also Ibuhu, the activists, who is moving for the creation of Oduduwa a nation. You know, I think they also need to agree and speak in one voice. They should invite him, and because he's been holding rallies here and there. I think the next one is planned for, is it Osun State? You know, and all of that is creating fear, you know, kind of in the minds of people. Just like it's almost getting to the level, the IPOB is asking for a nation to be created, the Biafra nation. Now Oduduwa is asking for, Igbo is asking for the Oduduwa nation in this part of the world. So if the governors want to sit and talk, first, what my challenge is that every of this security matter is almost being limited to the federal government. Everybody is pointing and accusing finger at the federal government. What happens to the security votes given to state governors?
Right.
What are these monies being used for? Nigeria has snowballed into a high level of insecurity. Now, all of the money that they receive on monthly basis, where have they been channeled into in terms of fighting insecurity in their states? It is a good thing, wonderful thing that governors well, it's not the first, I don't think it's the first time the governors of the South or Southwest.
The South.
The South, okay, the South, fine. South have been having theirs. Apparently, that was what gave birth to Amotekun, okay, in terms of security. Now, if the entire South, which includes Southeast, South-South, and Southwest, the governors are coming together to think of how to fight insecurity, it's a wonderful measure, and they should say it the way it is. It is not about going there and really not talking about what the situation in the country is at the moment. And I would suggest that if that meeting is holding, some persons should be invited. I just mentioned Igboho. You have the people in the East too, the agitators, the IPOB members. One or two of them should also be invited. And then you sit down in the course of talking. Now, the Southeast has what they call Ebube Agu as their own security formation. Southwest has Amotekun. South, we've not seen any specifically from South.
Yes.
Why are all of these? Now, there's a clash in the Southeast in terms of fighting insecurity by these bodies. The governors of the Southeast have Ebube Agu. IPOB has ESN and says ESN is merely fighting those kidnappers in the forest, and then those they also refer to as bandits. Amotekun is also about the same thing, fighting insecurity. There's none about the South. But if they must meet today, they should understand that right now in the country, there's so much insecurity. And then let me also say this. Quickly. There are reports that the US has advised Nigeria, based on intel, that ISIS and Al-Qaeda are about infiltrating the South. That part of them have entered the Northwest. And this came from, what's it called now? This special force body by the US in Africa, Special Operations Command. Yeah. It came from the commander. The commander was quoted. And so it gives a lot of concern to the South. The governor should sit up, pull resources together, and find a way of having a lasting solution. Intel is most important. Right. Intelligence gathering. They should be looking at gadgets, technology, to gather information and then processing them to get at the right intel to battle insecurity.
We'll leave the conversation here now. Security consultant Darlington Umoru, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.